What's up, everybody? This is Tanner from TanmanBaseballFan.com. I wanted to show off my top 25 Jose Canseco baseball cards. It's changed a little bit over the past few years. So I also want to kind of show, again, this is what I did in a previous video, my little Ninja Turtle setup. So right here, there used to be a bunch of Canseco cards. And then at the top, these are just kind of placeholders right now. I think I might put different guys in there, but this will just be kind of a spot for me to swap out every so often. But this area had a bunch of Canseco cards as well as this section. So right now, as you can see, I only have one shelf of Canseco cards left, and it's really kind of allowed me to really appreciate just a smaller quantity. I look at them more. I'm not so my eyes aren't always all over the place just because I've got so many, or had so many displayed. So I wanted to go over them because some of them have some pretty cool stories, and yeah, really excited to show off these guys. So let me kind of go and start off with this one here. So this is a 1998 Pinnacle certified mirror red, and the scratch is on the holder. But anyways, beautiful card. It's a prototype. There's only one other that I know of that's out there. This card, actually, the base version of this was shown by another super collector years and years and years ago, and I drooled incessantly over it. It was just amazing. So this is just way cooler. There's a blue and a gold one out there also. I don't know if there's others beyond the ones I've seen. I used to have them, so I'd love to be able to pick those back up at some point. But for now, I think this one works really nicely here because the colors just are perfect together. Like I said, probably only two of them exist. There might be some more, but we may never see them. So here is an EX, and I am in love with this card. I remember seeing this card on another super collector's website, and I didn't think much of it because it was scanned. And I did a video and an article on this, on how these EX essential credentials, I think it's a 98 if I remember correctly, scans, they're terrible. Pictures, they're beautiful. It's got like this little kind of neon green translucent there, and then you have like the gold holofoil. And this is numbered to 40, but I've seen maybe one other, maybe two others. They are super hard because the collectors of the set just hoard them. I'm going to go and show you also while I'm here this version as well. This is, let me pick this one up, and I want to give this one just as much love because this might even be nicer looking. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. And it's got the red translucent as well as the purple holofoil. And this is a 61. I've seen maybe one more of these than I did the gold, but together they are just an absolute knockout. And the funny thing is, I have a theory: if either one of these, and they're really big money cards, but they would probably be even bigger money cards if there was only one parallel, instead of them fighting together for like which one is which. Or for instance, let's say if this one was numbered out of 200 and this was out of 25, I mean, that'd be a big deal. So they are big deal cards as it is, but I think they could possibly dethrone, either one of them could possibly dethrone like the top tier 90s inserts and parallels. Now they are top tier anyways, but I'm talking about like, very, very top. But anyway, so going forward, we have this beautiful, this is my favorite button of Canseco that I've ever seen. I got this, and I actually had the other Gypsy Queen, the first ever Gypsy Queen button of Canseco, and real nice card, really nice card. But gosh, I like this one so much more. And the funny thing was, is I was in the middle of doing a deal with somebody where I was thinking, do I want to trade the button? I'm not sure. And ultimately this card popped, and I go, oh my gosh, I mean, the design is amazing. When I sold out my super collection, I actually sold this, or traded it. Yeah, I guess I sold it to somebody, and I came back about a year later and offered the moon for in trade, to get that back into my collection. So I'm super happy that it's back in my collection. It's my absolute favorite Canseco button card ever made. Now, here is my absolute favorite knob Canseco card ever made. I love this. This is a Sterling. I wish it was signed, but Jose signs so much stuff, it's not really a big deal. I would like to get a signed knob card at some point, but the markings on this knob, the finish really is what has, does it for me. I think it's probably better in person, but it's got kind of like it's not a super sharp holographic foil like you see on these or like refractors. It's very classy, like I guess, what do you call it, like an abalone shell or something? I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's pretty perfect. I mean, I love it. I love it. And, so following up on this is my favorite barrel card that's ever been made of Canseco. And this is the first one I ever had, and it is super classy. I sold this. It was traded to a friend, and then my friend actually traded this back to me for something else. And man, I am super pumped to have this back in my collection again. I really like how they centered not just the model name, but also Canseco's name in the middle. I just think, gosh, I think it's the greatest. So going forward is, and you're going to see a theme here, my favorite Rawlings tag that's ever been made, my favorite laundry tag of Canseco that's ever been made. So the neat thing about this is I actually landed this on Thanksgiving Day of 2019 or 2020. I don't recall the year, but it was, I was actually sitting on the couch with Holly, talking before we were about to go to Thanksgiving, and this card popped up, and I pulled the trigger as fast as I could. The neat thing is not just that's a tag, because like Canseco laundry tags are super duper rare. The reason why I put this one ahead of all the others that have been made so far, at least, is because I know exactly where this specific tag came from. It came from a rookie jersey of Canseco that actually sold at auction. So it was fun. I did a little Photoshop, and I posted this photo on top of the actual jersey itself. And so to not just have a laundry tag of Canseco, but a rookie jersey laundry tag, yeah, it means everything. It's and the design is insane. It's a national treasure, so it's not a licensed card like Topps or whatever, but I mean, I literally don't care one bit about that at all. I don't care about licensed versus unlicensed if the card's nice enough. Speaking of which, speaking of non-licensed, this is my favorite card that Leaf has done. I mean, and this might be my favorite sleeve patch card that's ever been made of his. He's had licensed sleeve patches as well, but the design, I don't think this is beatable. I don't think it's beatable. It's gorgeous. It is an eye catcher. I remember where I got this also. I was at Legoland on, ironically, Thanksgiving Day weekend. I think maybe Thanksgiving is like a big day for me as far as Canseco cards go. But I think we were out there for Thanksgiving in Florida, if I remember correctly, in Legoland, and I just was checking, and sure enough, this popped up, and oh my gosh, I was excited. Now, the neat thing about this card is I saw pictures of this card before it was signed, as well as pictures during the signing that Jose had. So I saw this card before it was signed, and I go, oh my gosh, my jaw dropped because it was beautiful. It was like, this might literally be in the running as the nicest looking Canseco patch ever, whether it's sleeve patches or anything. It's that impressive, to me at least. And keep in mind, I am going to say this also. As far as all these cards go, I will not go as far as say that this is the best button, this is the best knob, this is the best barrel, this is the best tag, this is the best sleeve patch. I will go as far as say that these cards are my favorites that have ever been made of Canseco for each of these categories. For other people, it might not be the same. But I will not be so arrogant as to say that these are the best ones ever made. And rest assured, they will probably make better ones in the future. So I don't want people to think that I'm like saying mine's the best and I'm the greatest or whatever. That's definitely not the case. It's just my showing of how content and thankful I am to have my favorites. So anyways, going forward, My goodness, you guys, like this was a neat one because this has been a slippery fish here. This is a Fleer Brilliance out of 24, a little bit of 24 karat gold at the top there. There's scuffing on the case itself, so it's not the card on the top there, but it is ridiculously beautiful and insanely hard to get. This is a top tier 90s, 2000s. Let's see what year this is actually. Yeah, 1999. So the top tier 90s insert / parallel card, just as this is, just as this is, just as this is. This has a potential to be an eBay breaker. Like if this ever gets on eBay, I mean, it could go sky high. So a little story behind this. I ended up selling this when I sold out my super collection. I traded back and, gave him, the moon at the time or whatever. Also, it's the same guy I got this from. So shout out to Curtis there. So he's a good friend of mine. And anyway, so he was nice enough to trade this back to me, even though I was, like I said, I gave him a bunch of stuff. And so after that, I had somebody approach me to buy this card for a very, good amount of money at the time. I mean, it's probably a bargain now. But I couldn't refuse it. So I ended up taking it. And ultimately, shortly thereafter, I reached out to another buddy who had this one, and he traded. So I had to trade a boatload. I think, guys, like this card will go, if I had to guess, I think this card would blow the doors off of any one of these at auction, just because of the 90s allure of this type card. I think it's would go for very, very, very big money. So very thankful to have it back in my collection, especially now, because with as much as it was back then, when I sold it and then traded back and then sold it and traded back, I think it'd do even crazier now. So moving up to the middle row, and there's only 5 cards on this row. This is just art. Absolute work of art. It's completely wood. It has a wood frame, gold ink signature, 1 of 1. It's Topps Museum. And let me talk about this type of card also, by the way. So first of all, I mean, I'm blown away with how beautiful these are. And Museum has done these all wood cards for a number of years now. Jose, I think, has had 3, if I remember correctly. And I've actually been fortunate enough to have owned all 3 of them. The first one came out. It's nice, and it was like incredible when it first came out, and still is incredible. Then the second one came out, and oh my gosh, it was beautiful. It was dark. Like the picture was great. The design was great, but it was like a very dark card. And I sold it, and I was like, man, like after getting rid of it, I started thinking, man, I just really, really missed that card. Then this came along, and oh my gosh, I mean, it's gorgeous. I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know if I would say that I like this better than the last one or the last one better than this one. I just don't know, because they both have so many things going for them. I do like that this is brighter. It's got a really great picture, and it's a picture of when he was on the A's when I was a kid during his heyday. So there's a lot going for this card. So it's either my favorite wood card of his or my favorite, or tied for my favorite wood card of his. I just don't know. And it's a good problem to have, I guess. But anyway, so very beautiful card. This card here, and guys, like I feel like, let me jump over here real quick, because if I'm telling stories, let me kind of tell the story about this one here a little bit more in depth. This card here actually popped up on eBay, like out of nowhere. And I was freaking out, and I go, oh no. And then it was pulled because somebody made an offer to the seller and they pulled it, which, unfortunate. It happens. So I reached out to somebody that was in the same area. I found out that they were in the Dallas area. I reached out to somebody that I knew in that area, and I go, hey, do you know, this person that has these cards? I want to see if they have any more. And so he actually reached out to me and says, Tanner, you should have asked me before. I think I have these. Now, I've heard that a lot about this card. They're always the wrong year. They're not the prototypes. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm sure. Yeah, send me pictures. That'd be great. He sends me pictures. He has the entire run, which, talk about needle in a haystack. It was just insane. So anyways, I was able to get the entire run, and I ended up ultimately selling those off. But part of the sale was to trade this one that was on eBay, the very first one that surfaced, to come back. So it's kind of a neat little, little memento of this wild story. I wrote about it, actually helped bring these to market and everything too. So there's, I'm kind of briefly telling you about these stories. The story behind this, there's a lot more to it also, but this has a wild story behind it. It's not just an incredibly beautiful card that would probably go for really good money now, but it's got an incredible story. It means a lot to me. Okay, so going back to the second row here. Sorry, I'm jumping around, guys. This card is mythical. I mean, it has an incredible mythical status. And let me talk about this for a little bit. So first of all, this gold is the second patch card that was second and last patch card that was ever released during Canseco's playing career. He didn't have any other cards that were released during his playing career other than this one, the first one, which I'm about to show you in a bit. This card in specific. So first of all, I found, well, a buddy of mine actually found, John found the other side of this patch. And so we ended up talking, and I was able to do a deal for it. Then a few weeks or months later or something, I think, and we're talking like this is in the past year or two, this one surfaces by me asking somebody, and they said, well, I do have this. I go, oh man. And my jaw dropped, because I've seen small grainy pictures of this card for years and years and years. And it is the most colorful patch, and John's will, I think probably has the same number of colors. So, so I guess both of us could say that we have the most colorful patch of Canseco ever. But yeah, it is a beautiful, beautiful patch. One of my favorite cards, and just incredible. And by the way, these go for, really, really big money. It's out of 25. I think I don't remember what the, how many they fell per pack or whatever. It was like minuscule, just insane. And so it's just a very, very nice card. It was fun to be able to see the other part of the patch as well. And just really, really, really happy with, with having this card in my collection here. Next up is a very special card. It is from the most expensive baseball card line ever, Topps Transcendent. And it is a beautiful sketch card. It's my favorite sketch card ever of Canseco. I mean, it is perfect. So let me talk about this a little bit. So first of all, Dan, I'm friends with Dan online, so I know who the artist is. But the most fun thing about this is there's somebody online by the name of Steve. I'll say his last initial as well, Y. So it's Steve Y. From Twitter. He actually posted this up, and Houdini from Blowout, I think he actually was the one that showed me this at first. Maybe he put me in touch with Steve. I don't recall exactly how that worked out. Maybe it was Houdini that broke this. I think he pulled it from Blowout. But in any event, Steve reached out and said, hey, are you interested in this? And I remember I woke up one Saturday morning and I go, oh, and I just stopped breathing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. It's a one of one. It's like the card when it comes to sketch cards. It's perfect. They actually, Topps Transcendent did a number of, I think a run of 99 or 100 of these with like their reproductions with like metal frames, which are really nice. But this is the actual original artwork. And so I go, oh no, I hope I wasn't too late to reach out back to Steve. So I'm going back and forth with him, and I'm hoping that he responds to me, and then he does. And I go, oh my gosh, if you still have it, I would love it. Let me know how much you want for it. He goes, you know what? You could just have it. He gave this card to me for free, you guys. He's like, I just appreciate what you do online and for the hobby and this, that, and the other. I was like, are you sure? I'll be more than happy to pay you for it. I mean, it's a very impressive card. And he's like, nope, don't even worry about it. Send me your address. And I go, oh my gosh. And so, I mean, listen, it's not every day somebody gifts you one of your favorite cards in your collection. So Steve, I know you've heard this from me a number of times over the past year or two. Thank you. Thank you again. I am still super happy with this card. Like, I love this card tons. But anyways, so a fun thing is also is I think Steve actually had the entire set of the reproduction of these. I don't know how many cards it is, but he said, hey, Tanner, if you know Dan, do you think I could send these to him and have him sign every single one of them? And then we'll auction it off for charity. I go, absolutely. So I was kind of happy to be involved in that in some way, shape, or form, even though I didn't really do anything. I thought that was such a nice gesture from Steve and Dan for signing, but I thought that was just so cool. But anyway, so another card just with a great, great, great story. And the card itself, I mean, amazing, but the story behind it just makes it that much better. So next up is Jose's first ever patch card. And this card, by the way, you guys, I would consider to be the best of the entire run. This I've seen the other patches on there. I've never seen one that comes close to, just how neat this one is. And so this is by far my favorite. So again, I'll backtrack. I won't say it's the best because you never know. You never know what's out there. They've made various ones of these, which, by the way, to give you an idea of how rare these are, they were pulled like one out of every 10,000 packs or something like that. So in order to get a Canseco, you had to go through cases and cases and cases and cases. I've had, and the cards with the regular patches are stupid hard to get, but this, goodness gracious. It's especially because it's a monumental card. I would rather have this. I'm a patch guy, so I'd rather have this than the one of one. I think back then in 2000, Upper Deck didn't really know to place the most premium patches in one of ones. And you've seen this with other cards in that set as well. But it's just such a neat card. Like, it's a card that, again, this came from Curtis, so who had this one that I sold him to, and this one, or a version of it. So, this is, I had to trade the moon for it. I actually ended up trading a bat barrel and a bunch of other super low number high-end cards just to get this one because, I'd rather have this, a showstopper, than a bunch of others, which, by the way, he got a bunch of showstoppers also, but I already have a barrel and I already have this, that, and the other. So anyways, really, really, really love that card. And it goes very nicely with that patch as well. So moving along is a newer card, which is funny, by the way, guys, like this is almost a quarter of a century old now. I mean, that's wild to me. So this is a new card, and this is Jose's first ever foil fractor autograph. It's a one of one, and let me see if I can show you. I don't know if you've ever seen a foil fractor before or not, but it's almost like it's got a little bit of a different pattern than a super fractor. It's more like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6 sides, whatever that is, and instead of circles, and instead of it just being foil, it's got a holographic foil to it. So it's a nice 1990 top style, which 1990 tops means the world to me. Actually did a book report for Florida, and I had to use my beloved precious 1990 Topps Jose Canseco card, and I got a 119 on it. I think I was back in 5th grade or something. So anyways, I appreciate the design. One of one. I had the one of one non-autograph, but I actually ended up dealing that away to my friend John, and so he has that one. And yeah, it's a gorgeous card. It's a really, really beautiful card. Very impressive. So I was very happy to have pulled both of them, or not pulled, but to have landed both of them. But I didn't need both of them. I just wanted to get this one. So he had a nice autograph on it. So might as well keep that one. And moving on, let's go back old school again. And these are a little dusty, so I'm trying to wipe them off from my shirt. But check this out. This is a Donruss preferred. I think it's called Prize Collections or something like that. I don't remember the exact name. I think it's a 98. So sorry guys, like my memory is just not what it used to be. I don't remember. But anyways, you'll notice that's not numbered. And that's because these were not numbered. They had a print run, I think, of 55 for these, but in today's standard, 55 is nothing. But back then, this is a massive deal. And let me give you an example. I've run into a set collector that ended up trying to put the set together for the past couple decades. He never ran across a Canseco. He never did. And this is the second time that I've run across this card. I actually have another little bit of a story on this too, which is wild. That I think I ended up buying this one, back in 2013 or 14, wherever I bought somebody's collection. And this card was like, I think listed as like a regular or something. But come to find out, this card was actually the one. You know, it's beautiful. The etching, the refractor, finish of it, everything is gorgeous on it, and A's, of course, and it deserves to be a top tier card for sure, because everything is there for it, right? Like the rarity, the beauty. It's also, for the A's fan, it's color match. It's got green, and he's, you know, on the A's on it. But anyway, so I ended up selling this one too, of course, whenever I sold out. And the guy that I sold it to ended up selling out, and I bought his collection. It's Matt. So Matt, I don't think you care about Canseco stuff anymore, but if you're listening or watching, shout out to you there. And I was trying to get him to trade back this card to me forever, like for a couple of years, and he just wouldn't. And finally he sold out, and so yay. So I sold most of the stuff that I got from his collection, but this is one of the handful that I kept. I'm super happy to have this one. So, and let's go on to the next one. This is a big deal. This is an absolute unicorn, you guys. So I wrote an article about this as well. 2010 Exquisite. From the outside looking in, yeah, this is a beautifully done card. It is exquisite, you know, it's beautiful. And it doesn't compare, the patch doesn't compare to that or that or that or that or anything. But let me tell you why this is ridiculously impressive. So first of all, let me kind of give you a lay of the land back when this was printed. Canseco, shortly after he ended up publishing his tell-all book, it seemed like the card companies didn't want anything to do with him. I don't know if it was just coincidence or not, but they ultimately largely stopped making cards of him. So like 2006, there were very few. And then, you know, Leaf, I think, started doing a few in 2011 or 12, but there's a big dead period through that whole time where very few, if any, cards of Canseco were made. Very, very few. Before that, there were tons. After that, there were tons, but that massive dead spot, you know, maybe just coincidence, or maybe they're like, okay, he wrote a book about baseball blackballing him and calling out people, so we're going to blackball Canseco on cardboard. That's my thought anyways. Conspiracy theory, maybe. So 2010, Upper Deck comes out with Exquisite. And, oh my goodness. I mean, check out the etching of the foil. I mean, it's really beautiful. You see it's numbered out 50? Wrong. There's about 5 that exist. And I think I know where the other 4 are. So if you're a collector of Canseco, and I don't think more than one other Canseco guy has it, if I remember correctly. It's a very big deal of a card. The other guys, I think, are Exquisite collectors. Even so, they made a base card which has like 7 or 8 of these, and it's been thought that maybe there's some more, but we don't know. So I think the official is that there's about 7 base cards. The base card, the last I checked, went for hundreds of dollars. So this is lower numbered and patch. So much more highly sought after. Very, very great card. The other part of the story is Upper Deck was involved in a lawsuit, and that's why there's so few of these, is because it was ordered to them to stop doing these cards. There's a whole lot more to it. The entire Exquisite set is massively and heavily collected by those who know, who are in the know with it. So anyways, check that out. Google it. 2010 Upper Deck Exquisite. Ridiculous card. Even more ridiculous story. Just awesome. And that's why it is one of my favorites. So going forward, So I've got a few super fractors. I really try to limit myself to one special type of card, especially when it comes to the newer type of cards. But I've decided to at least display this for now in my top 25 for now. I feel like I saw kind of like a little bit of a rainbow shine to this, which is interesting. Maybe just very, very slightly, which is interesting. But anyway, so this card I landed, and immediately after I bought it, the seller was reached out to by somebody who said, I will give you, it was like up over $1,000 for it or something. And thankfully the seller was good. And he said, nope, I sold it and that's it. So very happy to have this in my collection. I know there are a lot of sellers out there that would have said, nope, and then refunded me the money and we've gone somewhere else. So very, very grateful for that. So again, it's not, I don't know if it's my absolute favorite. I've got a couple others that I really, really like too, that I could have just as easily put in there. So, but this card is especially neat just because it very easily could have gone the other way. So then coming up here, one of these actually just sold on eBay, like literally about an hour ago. So this, you guys, this card means a ton to me. So first of all, let me talk about it. 1998 PMG. I mean, this has, again, tippy top tier of 90s parallels. Look at just everything is working for it. The holographic foil, the blue, the color with the A's, the fact that he's on the A's. It's numbered to 50. These go for big money. The last, well, I don't know, I've got some friends that are looking for this card, so I'm not going to talk about price or anything. So I just hope they can land them. But anyways, really, really, really cool card. I actually had to trade a lot to get this card, and then I ended up with another Canseco buddy that's been in the game for a lot longer than I have. He's one of the original guys, and anyways, I ended up getting an offer for it that I couldn't refuse. And I thought, okay, that's big money. Well, sure enough, the card sold for nearly as much after the next one that actually posted. I was like, oh, and I said, oh no, well, maybe I won't be able to get one for a reasonable price. Well, I got one for a reasonable in today's standards price. Anyways, and it just came in literally about a week or so ago. Can't stop staring at it, you guys. This is like the best card I have. I've gotten, like 2022, I didn't really get much. I got a few cards. This card blows the doors off of everything that I got in 2022. And I actually sold this card in 2022. So very, very happy to get this. So I consider this as being one of the trifecta of 90s cards that mean the most to me in my collection. It's this one that I just showed you. And it's this one, which is probably, this is in the running of being my favorite 90s card, maybe favorite card ever. It's a 1997 Pinnacle totally certified platinum. I've only seen a few others come up, but the difference is this is actually a dealer sample. These were numbered typically out of 30, and all the other Cansecos I've seen, the peel off sticker is upside down for the pack pulled ones. This is dealer sample. It comes from a very prominent person collection. And I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to say or not, so I'll probably not say anything right now, but very, very, very happy. Everything, the reason, I'm actually a big fan of the person this came from. Very thankful to have this in my collection. I actually sold this as well and was able to trade a game used helmet of Canseco to get it back. And very happy I did so. Super thankful that it's back in my collection. It means a lot. The fact that I actually wrote an article about how I got this card to begin with. So, because there was a lot of basically me catching wind that it possibly was going to come up for sale and me sitting at my computer for hours hitting the refresh button. And so it produced results. And this is the fruit of my labor. And very, very happy. So there's a reason why that one sits in the middle. And it's really hard to say that one's better than the PMG necessarily, to me anyways. But, anyways, I really like those. And then, of course, this one, the Red Crusade. This is the trifecta, by the way, of 90s cards for me, because they're all A's. all different really cool colors. There's blue, there's gold, and then there's red. I mean, just an incredible trifecta there. But let me show you this. This is number out of 25. This is considered, like those two, to be 90s parallel royalty. Top of the food chain. Everybody wants the Crusade Reds. It's numbered out of 25. And just a really, really nice card. And this is the second version that I've had. And I think probably one of the stories, one of the things that I've learned in my collecting journey is no matter how rare a card is, you will always most likely be able to find it again, or even a suitable replacement, even if it's not the same card. I mean, because, you know, listen, I got rid of my Crusade, this Totally Certified, the PMG, so many of these cards, and I was able to get them back eventually. Just took time, you know, just took time. So yeah, Red Crusade's a massive deal, obviously. So there's purple and green I've got in box, but I have very limited space here. So anyways, going forward, incredible. This is ridiculous, you guys. Ultimate Victory Gold, 1 of 1. For a long time, I placed this as perhaps the most beautiful 90s parallel ever. And you just take a look. Let's see if I can get this to focus more. And it pops even more in hand. I mean, it's just incredible. The rainbow and the swirl of the holofoil. It's a 1 of 1. A lot of times what they would have is they would actually have the stamped 1 of 1 right here. So there's a couple reasons why this may not. Number one, this might be a replacement. Number two, they might not have stamped all of them. And number three, this might be a replacement, and the Upper Deck might have accidentally destroyed some of the serial number versions some of the serial number versions of this. It's very difficult to tell. You never will know. I've seen some in this set. I've never seen another Canseco, but I would not be surprised if they created another Canseco that will surface at some point out there, whether it's got a serial number or not, because I don't know of any other 1 of 1s from the 90s where they only made one. I think the card companies would always make at least 1 or 2 or 3 others for replacement purposes. And you'll see them come out in the market every now and then. And, you know, I'm okay with having a replacement anyway. So yeah, but in any event, this is, this is gorgeous. It's, you know, maybe the most beautiful 90s parallel ever, but, you know, definitely one of them at least. So the last 2 cards, maybe tied for my favorite refractors ever. I think this one's probably my favorite, but I've always labeled it as my favorite. It's a 2004. My buddy Mark actually just landed one recently, which was a really big get. I think it's just incredible. The black border, the refraction, the yellow jersey, everything, which is kind of cool. So you see the yellow jersey there and the yellow in the tag. It's numbered out of 25. They're super hard to get, and it's 2004. Incredible card. Even more difficult to get, which I've seen this refractor probably 3 or 4 times for sale. So super hard. I don't think I've ever seen this one for sale, ever. And the blue background is just gorgeous. Again, it's got a scratch on the case, but anyways, it's an incredible set. So these 2 sets are very heavily collected, by the way, and they're both numbered out of 25, but this one for some reason just way harder to get, just on account of me never having seen another one for sale before. But anyways, there's an 05 that's a Rangers. I really like that too, but you know, I'm just, you know, cramped on space. So I think that's like 23 cards. So I'm going to cheat. The last 2, I'm going to have an honorable mention also that deserves to be up here. So it's honorable mention just because I don't have space. But anyways, the last 2 are cards that I've created. This is one of them. This is from my mystery cabinet that I created. Check out my YouTube video about it. But it spells his name. Every single letter is from a jersey that Jose Canseco wore and signed in my presence at his house. And so it means a ton. So you have every single team that he played for on there, which is really, really cool. So very happy with how it all came out. And it's a booklet, and so it folds up and everything. And on the back, the back of every single one of these, I don't want to take it out because I just don't want to accidentally have things fall. But on the back of every single panel is a picture of him wearing that specific jersey and him signing that specific jersey. So, and then let me go ahead and go over here and I'll show you the last piece before I get to the honorable mention. Okay, so here it is. This is the biggest jumbo booklet maybe that's ever been made. It's I think it's over 2 feet long, maybe nearly 3 feet long. I can't remember. It features all kinds of holofoil, color matched to each team, and this is every team that Jose is signed for, along with jumbo patches, so to give you an idea of how big it is. There's my hand, and let's see if I've got a card here. Hang on. Okay, here's a regular size card to give you an idea of how big these guys are. So it's a 3-panel booklet, and the outside's really impressive too. It's got pictures also of Jose wearing every single patch that you see here. Mark, my friend, and the guy of Canseconet.com that's been up since the 90s. You go to that website, you check the Jose Canseco home run guesser or whatever. You'll see that 17-year-old Tanner was guessing, and I actually got pretty darn close back then. So really fun. But anyways, he considers, Mark told me that this is the best single piece of non-game used memorabilia that's ever been created of Canseco. So I'm very happy to have that. That's a big feather in my cap, I'd say, if Mark says that. And because I've got some very good competition in Topps and Panini, don't I? But anyway, so very cool. Very happy with how this came out. And so let me show you the last piece. Okay, so here's the last piece, and this is a 2003 Flair Sweet Swatch Classic. Guys, like, this is, I would say honorable mention, but I mean, this really has to be at the top of one of my favorite cards because of what it is. The 1989 World Series was the pinnacle of my childhood. I loved the 89 World Series. It was everything that got me super excited about baseball and baseball cards. And what I have in my hand here is a patch that Canseco wore for the World Series in 1989. I actually remember, or I've seen in the past, like advertisements of Flair advertising the 1 of 1 that has like the same patch, but it's in the middle instead. And that was a massive deal. And I know the guy that ended up selling it to another super collector, and he said, man, I regret it. And he's not even a Canseco guy. But anyway, I also saw the right side of this patch pulled from a pack on YouTube. And I remember getting this thinking like, oh my gosh, I was just in shock. I think I actually saw it on eBay like on 4th of July, which is weird, right? Like, why am I getting so many cards on holidays? But in any event, super happy with this. It's just hard to display here in my little Canseco cubby because those are just regular size cards. But and there's a bunch of other cards that I would display that are my customs, and I'll probably swap them out at some point. And I would say that a lot of them would be in my top 25 as well. But, you know, you guys are more used to seeing the PMGs and super fractors and barrels and knobs and that sort of thing. So, but anyways, this is the quote unquote honorable mention. It's a jumbo World Series patch. Very happy with it. Yeah, I can't believe it's mine. Can't believe any of these are, really, to be honest with you. I feel very grateful to have these here. I'm not a Canseco super collector, so to speak, anymore. But the cards that I have of Canseco and the cards I go after, I love them fiercely. And I just think they're really, really great. And yeah, super happy to have them. And yeah, so I just wanted to give an update of my collection. Also, by the way, I probably have only like about 200 cards of Canseco now. So as you can see, like I'm going after the heavy hitters. And I've got a bunch of other heavy hitters too, but these are probably my favorites. But if you ask me tomorrow, there's probably a handful of all of these that can be swapped out with others. So, but anyway, so there it is, guys. Thank you as always for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.